game, essentially. And I think if you're able to get like a bona fide back, kind of like what Kareem Hunt was back in the day before he got in all that trouble, man, I think that the sky's honestly the limit for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the 49ers, on the other hand, once again, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like George Kittle, I think he has to get paid eventually, correct?
Yeah, he will have to.
Their defense will probably have to pay some of those guys as well. I like the Chiefs, honestly, going forward more than the 49ers.
It's interesting because you could think about that complete. I mean, Bosa's a rookie.
He is. No, for sure.
I mean,
Deebo Samuel.
Great draft.
Yeah.
Great draft.
Yeah, rookie.
And so for the next 3 years before you have to pay those guys, they're already paying the quarterback spot. Mm-hmm. They've got an offensive line. Now Staley's getting up there. Here's the drop-off, in my opinion, that they have to be careful of. Sherman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Played great. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you can count on that year again. Here's the way I view the two teams. One is, if I look at recent defenses that have been really good, they've dropped off. Mm-hmm. Jaguars being one of them.
Bears.
Chicago being another. So look at the last three, the best defenses, or one of the best defenses in the NFL. Jags, they dropped off to top 5. I'm just saying they weren't as dominant last year.
Yep,
Chicago's, they weren't bad defensively this year. They weren't
as
dominant.
Yeah.
This defense was dominant. So what the trend shows us is they won't be as dominant next year. Mm-hmm. Sherman, some of their big key free agents, Quan Alexander, D Ford, that really played well and paid off, will they continue to do that? The trend says no, in my opinion. So that's my problem with San Francisco from a defensive standpoint, and I still think there's some growth that needs to be done for Jimmy Garoppolo to take the reins of that team. I'm not convinced he won't do it, but I think we're still talking 3 years down the road maybe until he becomes that kind of guy, if he's capable of. On the Chiefs side of things, my one problem, and we'll get into this a little bit more when I talk about Mahomes, is their offense of this year and last year quite arguably could be the best offense Patrick Mahomes ever plays with. Mm-hmm. It only goes downhill from here offensively, in my opinion. I don't know if there's an uphill from here. They have been so good. So good. Can they keep everybody? Will guys stay healthy? Mm-hmm. Because if they lose one cog in there, they're different.
Yeah.
They're a lot different. Well, that's my concern with the Chiefs offensively is, they're going to be good. But are they going to be this good?
Well, and the ironic thing, too, is one of those main cogs in Tyreek Hill, they were able to sign for a kind of a discount because the guy got in trouble, right? And I think he just kind of he's thankful. You know what? I got in trouble. They're offering me this deal. I'm going to take it while I can. So, they got him at a discount just because the guy got in trouble, which is kind of a catch-22 if you ask me. But, I mean, obviously he's a big cog in what they do in offense.
And this is the other thing. I look at guys like Frank Clark. I look at Tyreek Hill. I look at can you trust them to stay out of any kind of trouble? Mm-hmm. They've had some issues in the past, here or there. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not trying to tear them down, their character. I'm just saying, do they stay out of any issues that could upset their locker room, upset them being on the field?
Well, you saw it happen.
They don't have the all-good guy team on that roster.
You saw it happen to Kareem Hunt. I mean, it's kind of good, kind of a blessing that they got rid of him when they did, because Kareem Hunt got pulled over with marijuana in his car.
Coming up next, we'll talk about some of the good guys from Jacksonville. Tony Baselli doesn't get in the Hall of Fame. Walter Payton Man of the Year Award winner for 2019, Calais Campbell. He earned it. We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Put on the poll, Guillermo, Le Batard Show. Over, under 1.4 billion chicken wings eaten on Super Bowl Sunday. Would you go over or under there?
Go over.
The reason I think the number is over is because that was just me yesterday. Just snorting chicken wings.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Beards Diamonds announces our most exciting offer ever. 0% financing store-wide.
Yes, now with Beards Diamonds, you get 0% interest for 5 years on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the year. Take advantage of the rock-bottom prices Beards is known for.
And spread your payments out over 5 full years without paying any interest.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring?
You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of $3,000 diamond stud earrings.
you pay just $50 a month.
Take advantage of this unprecedented offer all month at Beard's Diamonds.
This is the financing deal of a lifetime.
Get her that designer setting she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months.
Just divide your total price by 60, and that's what you'll pay a month.
Don't miss out on the best deal of the year.
0% financing store-wide.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center,
Or visit beardsdiamonds.com.
where exceptional is affordable.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
There's something new in the oven at the Home Depot. Air Fry, only in the Frigidaire Gallery Air Fry electric range. Satisfy your family's fried food craving with a healthier, tasty cooking alternative right in your oven. It also comes with self-clean, true convection, and a very tasty price, just $798. With up to 30% off appliance special buys, it's a good time to be a doer at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only. See store for details. Valid through February 26th.
Issue for quarterback Patrick Mahomes turns to a contract extension. He's eligible for one now. On that subject, the MVP of Super Bowl 54 said today a contract's something that's handled by other people. Added he obviously wants to be in Kansas City a long time, also wants to win a lot of football games there. Caesars Sportsbook has Mahomes and the Chiefs as the favorites to win Super Bowl 55 at 6-1 odds. One of the threats to a second straight title for KC could come from a team that didn't even make the playoffs this year, the Cowboys, believes ESPN's Marcus Spears.
What is McCarthy going to do in Dallas? Because, look, we talked about and lauded the talent in Dallas. We talked about the roster, how they built it. Defensively, they got to make some moves, but Dallas could be a real player.
NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Celtics and Hawks have engaged the Rockets in talks involving Clint Capella. Houston looking for first-round picks to flip into a deal for a wing player.
Straight Talk Wireless has the full court cell phone coverage you need. Get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month, saving you up to half the cost of big carriers. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I mean, you can see it in guys' eyes in there. It means something to guys. And, it means you got guys who care about what they're doing, guys who care about each other. And, we're a young team. Got a very bright future. So, got to take this in stride, remember this feeling, and, let it fuel us in the offseason.
That's Jimmy Garoppolo, and what are you going to say? I mean, that's what people say. When it's almost scripted, what people say when they win, what they say when they lose. They all feel the same way, and when you win, you say this. When you lose, you say that. I mean, that's what it is. But the bottom line is, and I felt this immediately for the Jags back in 2017, and I think the Saints are a great example of this. The Ravens this year are a great example of this. I can name you 5 teams every year that are a great example of this. When you get to a certain point, when you're the Jags in 17 and you get 10 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl, when you are the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo and you build this thing and you have this kind of season and you are 7 minutes away from winning the Super Bowl, I don't know how you can't think today and be like, gosh, I don't know if we're ever going to get this chance again. Like, ever's a long way. I'm talking about the players in that room. Mm-hmm. And while you hope it builds and there's momentum, we said before the break, there's so many trends that show teams dip. 1, they stay healthy. 2, they got a little lucky. 3, they had guys with career years. All those things. The Jaguars dipped. Last year, the Bears dipped. San Francisco might dip. I even said this, will Baltimore be as good as they were? They had 12 Pro Bowlers. You don't send 12 guys to the Pro Bowl every year. And just health in general, I think the Jags were a great example of that. 17 to 18, they were lucky with the health. 17, they were super unlucky health-wise. Now, things went worse because of other reasons too, but super unlucky. So I just think it's a tough league to say, yeah, we're young, we're going to be back. I don't know, man. I don't even feel like the Chiefs are going to be back. I just don't feel the odds are so stacked against you in the NFL to do it again and make an appearance in this game, which also puts an exclamation point on how good that mini run from Seattle was, but really how good this 2-decade run for the New England Patriots has been.
I mean, it's like we always say, Brennan, and I'm very adamant about, as far as New England's concerned, we're never going to see that again, I feel like, especially with the salary cap, the way it's set up and the contracts and everything. I just don't think we'll see another Patriots dynasty like that ever again. To get back to the Chiefs and the 49ers standpoint, obviously coaching is huge, and the personnel is huge, but don't get it twisted, man. You need a lot of luck as well. And when I say you need a lot of luck, I'm talking about injuries, okay? Because I remember sitting here during the preseason, Brent, and we both discussed the Los Angeles Chargers, being one of the teams to beat. And then they had their slew of injuries, and they never caught up. I mean, all it takes is one injury to put the whole thing just, behind the fence. But at the same time, Drew Brees gets hurt, Teddy Bridgewater comes in, and look what the Saints did. So maybe I'm wrong a little bit, but I just think so many things have to go right to get to the Super Bowl and to try to repeat, if you will. And 9 times out of 10, usually those things, they end up coming to bite you back in the butt the following season.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but think of every time I'm at the Super Bowl and watching the confetti go down and looking at the confetti and the celebration and all the staff that goes out there, whether it's been the Patriots, the Seahawks, I've seen Denver, the Eagles, and this year, obviously the Chiefs, and you really think about it with the Chiefs, and you just look around and you're like, my gosh, this is going to be so much fun when it happens for the Jaguars. And then I check myself and I'm like, I might be collecting Social Security when it happens. And it's not because the Jags have not been good. It's because it's so damn hard. It's like that hard to do. You can be good and not get there. You can feel like you're good enough to be there and still not get there. And then once you get there, you got to win or it's totally different. So that's reality. I know that sounds cliche, but it's reality, and it really hits you when you're there. And it has. I mean, I've been there, I think, 7 or 8 years in a row, and I always run through my mind because I actually think from a logistical standpoint, how are we going to cover this thing if the Patriots, if the Jags are in it? So, it's fascinating to think about it like that, but it's hard to think. The Chiefs, man, waited 50 years.
But let's be honest, though, Brent.
50.
No, and I understand that. But I think what makes it frustrating more than anything to be a Jaguars fan is that you had your taste in 2017.
Yeah.
You were a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl, and you had a lot of, hope built up following next season. New England comes in, you beat the brakes off the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. Everyone's getting the Super Bowl tickets ready. I'm like, oh, yeah, Jacksonville, this is their year for sure. 2018, here we come. And then just everything falls off. The wheels fall off, and it skids off the road. And when you talk about that, well, with the Chiefs, yeah, they had to wait 50 years, but guess what? There was optimism this year, Brent, all right? There was hope this year because if you go back to the last year, AFC Championship game, the Patriots, a couple plays here, a couple plays here, and it could have been the Chiefs. But you know what? The Chiefs still found a way to get it done this year. And that's the biggest part of the fact that, teams like the Saints, the 49ers are kind of an outlier because Jimmy G was hurt a couple years ago, so they're an outlier. Flip. But at least usually with these teams, Brent, where if they do make that playoff run, if they do get close, at least you have that optimism for next season. At least you can build off that. And the Jacksonville Jaguars from 2017, 2018, and until now, you haven't had that.
And really since 2008. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to validate their losing ways and say it's hard to win a Super Bowl because there are stages to it. There are stages of let's knock on the door. Let's be competitive. Yeah. Let's feel like in December we're going to get to the playoffs. Let's at least be in the dance 3, 4, 5 years in a row. And Kansas City's been there before. So there's that, no doubt. And then there's that next level. Right now the Jags are way back at that bottom rung trying to get to the middle level of, hey, let's be in the mix in December. And then I always think that next level is let's get to that dance and try to make a run, which they did in 17. And few people predicted that they would be able to go as far as they did, if you remember. And then the last step is getting all the way to that top of the mountain, which is so tough to do. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here Monday after a Super Bowl week in Miami. It was a really good week. And obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champs. Part of the week, Tony Vaselli and Hall of Fame. I got to be honest with you, man. I was a little surprised this time around. And I have a hard time telling you about the feelings of it. I've covered this 4 years in a row for Tony now being a finalist. And during the week, you talk to people, and you're like, hey, what do you think? What do you think? And people say so many nice things about all the candidates, but Tony included, and they're like, I got a good feeling, I got a good feeling. So you get to Saturday, meaning me, and I feel like, he's got a great chance to get in. That's going to be great, great. And then he doesn't get in. So what I've learned now is I really didn't ask many people what they thought this time around because I already know what they think and what they've said in the past. And I really didn't have any feeling going into Saturday. But I will tell you this. We all talked about this class showcases there's room for anybody. It's wide open outside of Palomalu is the way we thought about it when we handicapped it. It's a very tough thing to handicap with the 48 voters. So we're in the hotel where Tony's staying up in one of the rooms. And there's a bunch going on in the hotel now. I mean, we're talking Saturday before the Super Bowl. The place is rocking on South Beach, and we're in the lobby, and we're waiting, and we know it's coming down around 3 o'clock. I see the voters start coming down, so I know it's done. And so now they're just tallying votes and waiting to make decisions. And I'm looking for the big guy, Baker, the president there of the Hall of Fame. I'm waiting to see where he walks, and now I know it's for real, and I don't see him. But then we see Leroy Butler say he didn't make it in.
Yeah.
And we don't hear from Tony, and we kind of text back and forth with Tony, our Action Sports Jacks team, and we're not hearing from Tony. So we're like, ooh, wait a minute now.
Here we go.
And we're talking amongst ourselves. Now I'm like actually nervous for Tony Vaselli. Like I've got like butterflies for him. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be like, I'm starting to feel it. And then he texted me and said, didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so there was like this 5-minute stretch, and I was like, I think this is going to happen. Like, I really think it's going to happen. Like, more than I've ever thought it was going to happen the last few years.
You're getting your hopes up, yeah.
And then he said it didn't happen. And he handles it way better than the rest. By that time, I was kind of pissed. I was probably sending out nasty tweets and all this stuff at the time.
Sure.
But, I mean, you really get – it's a tough process. It's a tough process. Not for me. I mean, it's a tough process for everybody because I think people have their pom-poms on around here. It would mean a lot. Don't sleep on. I think people are a little fatigued of the story in a way because it's like, okay, when's it going to happen? It feels like it's the same thing. I get that part of it. But don't sleep on the fact how big of a deal this is.
Yeah.
To get your first player in this franchise's history in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it would have come in the 25th season of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's big for the city of Jacksonville. And by the way, we could use a little pick-me-up moment when it comes to the Jags around here.
Tell me about it.
And so it's a big deal. And it stinks that it didn't happen. And so now I'm on, like, the investigative team of this. Now I'm starting to...
Brent wants some answers, man.
I do.
He's going Liam Neeson on these people. I like it.
Well, you heard a lot. Listen, I'm not getting Tony Vaselli in the Hall of Fame. I know we all joke about it sometimes. We had Stu Gatz on. We said we want the credit for it, and everybody in town wants credit for it.
We got to start threatening people here, Brent. Yeah. We got to start knocking down some doors.
But now I really want to try to figure out what is going on with it. And a lot of people point to Sam Kavaras. He's the presenter of it. And I'm telling you, and I think you've heard other media folks echo this, and I've asked voters how the presentation is. And it's not about that.
No,
it's not
at all.
It's not. So I don't know if we should be defending Sam or not. I just know social media gets on Sam and says we need to change the presenter.
No,
put Prisco in.
Yeah.
Put Dan in. Put you in, Brett. Doesn't matter who else. It's not. That's not it. As far as I can tell, that's not it. The longevity is a sticking point with some of these guys that you want to just go punch some of the guys in the face.
Correct.
I mean, it really is. It's like to the point where they are old, stodgy guy. I said this last week. It's not necessarily old, stodgy guy, but it's the guy that didn't vote for Jeter to get in the Hall. Mm-hmm. It's like that. It's you're not budging that guy because that guy doesn't want 100%, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like, you're not getting through to that guy. Well, there are a couple of those guys in the room. There's only 48 votes, and there are a couple of those guys in the room. But I dug a little bit deeper on this part of it, and I thought this was interesting. Talked to a couple of voters, and this made sense to me. There were 3 primary offensive linemen that had a chance this year. Steve Hutchinson, who ended up getting in, a guard, and Alan Faneca, a longtime Steeler, guard. Now, our case for Tony was he's a tackle and one of the greats of all time. And quite honestly, I don't think anybody's saying Steve Hutchinson or Alan Faneca are two of the greats of all time. I mean, people put Tony in, might have played it like as good as anybody who ever played the position. So they're in different contexts, in my opinion, but longevity comes into play. So the voters he told me, he's like, well, a lot of times people just vote for one offensive lineman. So when you have three worthy candidates, especially that maybe now have knocked on the door a couple years like Hutchinson and Tony, they split votes because people might put like a defensive end in, a safety in. They're putting Palomalu in, right? Their Atwater ends up going in. A wide receiver in, but they don't want to necessarily in their mind say, all right, I'm going to put 2 offensive linemen in or 3 offensive linemen in. You know what I mean? We do that. I think that's by nature. I don't think that's like purposeful or anything. I think that's a subconscious play. And so they split votes. So if you combine the split votes, that could potentially happen with the fact that some are stuck on the longevity part of this for Tony. I think that's where he's coming up a shade short. And I think he came up just a shade short this year. And I'm talking the closest it's ever been. So then I did have one guy, he said he voted for all 3. Voted for all 3 offensive linemen, but that's very unique. So I thought that was a decent explainer. I'm not saying it's a good excuse, but I thought that was a decent explainer of how things. I mean, it's no different than if you're voting in political race, right? If you have an independent or somebody stealing votes somewhere, you know. And I think the offensive linemen might be eating at each other in a process like this for this year.
All right, so here's where I sit with the whole Tony Baselli thing. Okay, and I have a lot of respect for sports journalists. I'm still fairly new to this game, so it's not my place to call anybody out. Okay, but a lot of those guys in the room, Brent, they're sports journalists, right? They cover their respective teams, or they cover the league, and they do what they do. And I think that for the most part, they're very knowledgeable in the game of football. Obviously, they have their job and they do what they do. But to sit here and say, well, who's a great left tackle, who's an okay left tackle, to just go by longevity is not right, okay? And how many of those guys actually watch film of Tony Baselli? I have no idea. I'm sure it's not a lot of them. And do you know what? I wouldn't do it, right? Like, I watch games, and I love watching NFL games. I love breaking them down. I love breaking down the schemes. But guess what, man? I don't like watching offensive lines, okay? Because it's boring. I'm going to come out and say it's boring to watch the offensive line.
There's no numbers to stack up.
And I think a lot of people would agree with me. If I go on the street right now, if I go to a sports expert in football and I ask, who was the best left tackle this year? Some guys would probably tell me Stanley from Baltimore. Some guys might tell me Bakhtiari from Green Bay. Maybe even Tunzel from Houston, okay? Yep. I mean, like, it's up for debate. But do you know what I would do? I would go ask around. I would go ask the best defensive ends in the league, who's the best offensive tackle of this past season? And I would listen to their word, because their word to me counts more than what I see on film. Their word to me counts more than what I see on NFL Red Zone, maybe 10 minutes a pop, okay? So that's what I would do. I understand that we have to throw around all these statistics and be like, all right, so this guy played so and so many years, he had so and so many Pro Bowls, yada, yada, yada. Here's what Tony racks up to that. Okay, fine. Go ahead and throw those stats out there if you want to. But here's where I stand. Talk to the best rushers in the game that went against Tony Baselli and see what they say about him. Bring those guys in the room and see what they say about him. And then if that's not enough, then go ahead and just look at the accolades that Tony Baselli has. He at one time was the best player at his position. Okay, the best. He's an all-decade guy. What more do you need? If you have the respect of your peers that went against him and they say he's one of the best guys to ever do it, check. And then if you go against the stats, the accolades, the analytics, and say, you know what, he's an all-decade team guy, then what are we doing here? I don't care, like, oh, he only played so-and-so seasons, but this guy got... No, to hell with all that. The guy at the time was one of the best to play his position. End of story. And I'm done. Okay? Enough said.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is, I think somebody asked me this on social media. Said, well, who would you have put him in over? Like, who would... Well, I don't think Isaac Bruce or Edgerrin James necessarily have that title of as dominant in their era as Tony was. Mm-hmm. I mean, Peter King said it to us the other day. He's covered the league for 40 years. And the best tackle he's ever seen was Anthony Munoz in 40 years. The next best is Tony Baselli. And Munoz says similar things. A guy that knows the craft.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think Emmitt Smith saying Edgerrin James is the second best guy that's ever played.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm just what do we have to do here, Brent? Like, do we have to get all the Hall of Fame guys? No, I'm being serious here. Do we have to get all the Hall of Fame guys to bring in their gold jackets, just like in Rudy, and put their gold jackets on the table and be like, Tony Baselli can have my spot. Tony Baselli can have my spot. Is that what we have to do now? Because I'm not even lying, dude. Like, to me, it's ridiculous because you can't justify not having him in the Hall when all his peers say that he should be in, who are all Hall of Famers, who are all some of the best to ever do it, and then also being an all-decade guy and being the best at his position. You can't justify it to me. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but I did even ask. I seriously asked this question. I'll share this with you. That I said, is there anything more seriously we can do in Jacksonville? I asked a couple of the voters this. So is there anything we're missing, like we can do, that would make his candidacy better? Are we not making a good enough case? Do we not keep it in the spotlight enough? And the answer I got was no, it's not going to make a difference. You know, it's not. We have the resumes. We've seen the presentations. We've been in that room for 4 years. Peter King, I think, said he was the longest discussion out of anybody. So it was that close.
Yeah.
Here's what's. I think the Jags have done a much better job. The last 2 years versus the previous 2 years and beyond of pushing Baselli, handing out things, pushing it on social media, keeping him top of mind this week. I think they've done a better job. Tony himself has done a good job because he's around the league. He does the national broadcast for Westwood One. So he was at the Super Bowl last night. He's at these events. He's there at the Pro Bowl. He's there on Thursday. His name's still relevant. And I do think Terrell Davis, we thought, might open the floodgate for a guy like Tony, and you could take away the longevity part. That hasn't happened yet. But next year's interesting. And while at first glance you say, oh, man, no way he's getting in next year. No way. Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson. Jared Allen. I'm missing one. There's another one. There's a slam dunk one, and I'm missing. But either way. So there's 4 spots that are basically tied up, and they're locked in. And, Charles Woodson.
Oh, yeah. Obviously. Yeah, for sure.
There are 4 spots that might be locked in. Jared Allen, people might debate, but we looked at him today. 136 sacks, man. I mean, 5-time All-Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, for a committee that obviously likes numbers, those numbers are going to pop. I think Jared Allen is going to get in. So, Terrell Davis. So, at first glance, you're like, this might be one spot open. The good news, I thought about this. I was like, well, maybe it actually is good news. He's knocking on the door, and you've eliminated another offensive lineman. So Mawai last year goes. Hutchinson this year goes. So with all that glitz and glamour of the class of next year, Calvin Johnson, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, the numbers, Jared Allen, well, not a bad time to sneak in that 5th one, and it could come down to Baselli or Faneca. And now you're not having guys steal as many votes because those other offensive linemen that are deserving have already been pushed in, right or wrong ahead of Baselli, but they've already been pushed in. So I don't know how I feel about next year. We got a year to figure that out.
Yeah.
But at first glance on Saturday, I was like, no way he's getting in next year. I mean, if he hasn't been able to get in this year or the last couple of years, no way. But now I'm starting to think twice about it after talking to some of these guys. The split vote and lack thereof really could help Baselli next year, believe it or not, in a crowded room to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll have to keep an eye on it and see if it works. Listen, I know it sounds a little bit like whining at times. I think Baselli has handled this really well. We've been around him. I think he was really he has a struggle at first, the first couple years.
Okay.
And I think he's done a good job with this, and he handles it better than everybody else. I think just everybody wants to see it happen. And they know when you know it should happen. And there are a lot of guys that don't get in, it should happen. I would say Leroy Butler probably should get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So if you're up in Green Bay, if you're Leroy Butler's family, and you weren't even a finalist, I think you have a right to be like, what? Why? I get it. It's a numbers game. I understand that. But I'm tired of waiting.
No, I understand. I hear you, man. And yeah, well, listen. I mean, once again, I like, and I'm not going to call anybody out, man, because like I feel like everybody that gets in the Hall of Fame, they deserve it, man. Like who am I, dude?
It's not fair
I played
to compare.
5 years in the league.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to say that guy should be in over that. No, dude. If you make it to the Hall of Fame, props on you. You deserve it. I'm never going to call anybody out for making over somebody else. That's just not how I operate, and that's not how I run. But I think from the standpoint of, you know, you can turn to the longevity thing if you want, but I think what they need to keep on pushing and pushing. You kind of saw that with Jaguar social media, is the fact that what his peers are saying about him. And then that's the most important thing. Now, let's be honest.
And now a lot of those peers are in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Jason Taylor, Bruce Smith, Anthony Munoz, those kind of guys.
And let's be honest, though, like, are these Hall of Fame, committee guys going to go on Twitter and be like, oh, well, this has got 200 retweets. I better, like, give Tony Baselli some more consideration? No, absolutely not. But
being in the subconscious is important.
But get the conversation going. And I'm telling you, man, if worse comes to worse and your speech isn't enough, then bring your peers in. Like, I honestly, I would bring some respected Hall of Famers in to speak on Tony's behalf because he's earned that.
There are a lot of folks that think the system is flawed, and it probably is. Most voting systems, to some degree, are flawed. But I actually think right now the group in there, as close as Tony is, I don't want to see any changes. I think it would be beneficial to Tony to keep this in.
Just keep it moving.
And by the way, we haven't talked about, and we will talk about, and Fred Taylor deserves being talked about. He's earned that. And his numbers will warrant that. And it will be another push from here in Jacksonville, I think, and probably take a little bit. But Edgerrin James just helped Fred Taylor get in the Hall of Fame someday. That was a good thing for Fred Taylor. It might have been a bad thing for Tony Baselli for this year, but it might have been a good thing down the road for Fred Taylor, because if you start looking at the numbers and the comps, his comps are going to be very comparable to many Hall of Fame running backs in Canton, Ohio. All right, when we come back, a different award. And you know about the award. You know about Calais Campbell. We don't need to spend 15 minutes talking about how great Calais Campbell is. You already know it. But I do have two significant questions for you. One, if he ended his career today, would you put him in the pride of the Jaguars after just 3 years?
Good one.
And two, what's worse from a public relations standpoint for the Jaguars in 2020? Losing Yannick Ngakoue and not getting a deal done? Or losing the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, the MVP of the Pro Bowl, Calais Campbell? It's next on ESPN 690. Your call's always welcome. Star 690 904 362 9901.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Start of our warming trend today under sunny skies will reach 70 to 75 this afternoon, dropping into the cool mid to upper 40s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time,
0% financing store-wide.
Find out more at beardsdiamonds.com. ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. Happy Monday. The Super Bowl is over and the Kansas City Chiefs are the world champions for the first time in 50 years. The game had plenty of drama as the Chiefs had to come back from behind to go ahead and win 31-20. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Chiefs, was named the MVP, and here he is on why he wanted to win a championship for Coach Andy Reid.
He's someone that works harder than anyone I've ever known, and he deserved it. And so I'm glad that we were able to go out there and get that trophy for him.
And even though they didn't make the postseason, Jag picked up some hardware this weekend. It was D lineman Calais Campbell, who was named the NFL's Man of the Year, which celebrates off-the-field charitable works. Congrats, Calais. You deserve it. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best-kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Being a victim of medical malpractice can leave you feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Medical mistakes happen more often than you think. Understanding your legal options following medical malpractice is important. If you think you've been the victim of medical malpractice, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. My family and I invested in a Connecticut system from CGC Water a while ago, and we're so glad we did. The team at CGC Water makes it so easy to get the best quality water running through my entire home and the best tasting drinking water right at my sink and it even makes the coffee taste better. Do yourselves a favor and start the new year off right. Financing options available with approved credit. Call 904-694-2424. Tell them Brent sent you, or visit cgcwater.com, your local authorized independent Connecticut dealer.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed, or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
Are your sales sluggish? Does your business feel flat? Give it a boost of natural energy with a sponsorship at the Jack's Health and Fitness Expo on February 22nd at the Morocco Shrine. Put your business in front of thousands of health and fitness-conscious consumers looking for ways to enhance their health. Kick off 2020 with a bang at the Jack's Health and Fitness Expo on February 22nd. Space is going fast, so book yours today at 245-8596 or visit BeHealthyJacks.com. Call 245-8596, BeHealthyJacks.com.
The Daytona 500. Be here on February 16th to witness the biggest race of the year, where one driver will make history as a Daytona 500 champion. Be here to feel the power that takes your breath away and brings you to the edge of your seat, and to experience the thrill of one of the greatest events in sports and one of the most iconic events in the world. This is the Daytona 500. Tickets are available now at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or Daytona500.com.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Clearly, it's because I'm on every morning from 6 till 10 a.m. But this isn't about me. It's about your business. Get your business noticed today. First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get on our team than right now. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Need your carpets and tiles looking great for the special holiday party? Give Zero Res a call. Zero Res technicians are cleaning freaks. Google it and read over 2,500 5-star reviews. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
I'm Mark Kinder with Affordable Water. There's a process in water treatment called ion exchange. This process actually removes hardness using very little salt with our demand metered systems. Our dual media system softens and filters water for your home or business. Affordable Water has been educating and serving Jacksonville for 30 years. We're licensed locally as well as on the state and national level. Affordable Water, 262-0197. That's Affordable Water, 262-0197. License number W32.
AffordableWaterJacks.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Ironically, my health and fitness business was feeling slow and out of shape. That's why I booked space at the Jack's Health and Fitness Expo on February 22nd at the Morocco Shrine. The Jack's Health and Fitness Expo draws thousands of health and fitness conscious people looking for ways to enhance their health. That's just the type of customer my business needs to get back in the game. Give your business a boost and book your sponsorship now at 245-8596 or visit BeHealthyJacks.com. 245-8596 or BeHealthyJacks.com.
Sí, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Did you watch your 8-year-old son become a man during the halftime ceremony? He was looking at his 8-year-old, and it was a boy when it began, and then he's like, okay.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I joked about I'm going to have a double cheeseburger tonight with extra cheese. I'm going to enjoy it with my family and the team. That's what I'm going to do. You know, that's exciting.
How big was that cheeseburger for Andy Reid?
Oh, man. I mean, at least 2 pounds, right? Is that what we're talking here?
2 pounds.
2-pounder.
Is
Angus.
that an 80-20?
Certified Angus. Oh, yeah, 80-20 for sure, dude. Maybe even a 70-30, if that even exists, man.
I don't know. What's good? What's like, is 80-20 like what you're supposed to have?
Yeah,
Like
80-20, man. I mean, like, let's be honest. You can go like the 85-15 or whatever, but let's be honest. Like,
they have 95% lean now, you know.
But, like,
did they really?
Oh, sure they do, yeah.
But it's a burger.
Is that
like,
called
I
vegan?
get trying to be healthy. I know, right? Is that called the Impossible Burger?
No, I think that's a buffalo meat burger. But anyway.
I mean, if you're going to eat a burger, go all out with it. Like, don't try to make yourself feel better and say,
I'm
well,
eating it
at least I'm going to
burger.
eat a lean. No, man, it's a cheeseburger. It ain't going to be healthy for you.
No.
So go above and beyond it, all right? Don't try to, ride the fence with this thing.
Andy Reid with the other quote of
Which
the day
one, man? He had a lot of
today was I didn't spend time with the trophy. I spent time with my trophy wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Last night. Yeah.
Points.
That was good.
That won some points for sure.
That was good. Very good. Brent
Genius.
Martineau, Austin Lane. Super Bowl 54 in the books, and Kansas City Chiefs are the champs. John Bachman joins us now from CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Look at you here in the screen, too, man. Looking good.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
right in the
cool. I got
middle.
on camera now.
Yep.
Kuz is taking care of me.
Yep.
Did you have fun watching the game? I know you worked, so you
I
had a
was
little
gonna say,
Super Bowl party
I
at
watched
work.
the first half at home with the family, and then made my way during Shakira and J-Lo over to the station.
You mean you missed that part?
I missed most of it. I
Well,
did.
I have it on my DVR at home if you want to come over and watch it, man.
I am not surprised at all by that.
It was a long game. Couldn't get everything, but we got the halftime show. There's only so much recording you can do, obviously.
Can only fit so much on there.
Those first 2
Is
quarters,
the rewind and pause button worn out now?
No,
Is that
dude,
what
it's
it
all
is?
good, man. Still motion all day.
What is the overall reaction to the halftime?
I think everybody's happy with it.
Oh, no. Whoa.
There's never
Time out, dude.
What are you talking
There's
about?
no such thing as everybody's
Okay,
happy.
okay,
This is full
okay.
outrage, century here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people upset about it.
No, I mean, there was polls involved.
Yes.
There was crotch shots
Yes.
involved.
A lot of shaking.
There was probably a lot of moms not too happy.
Yeah.
I said today, in fact, this should be a news story.
Okay.
There are probably Latino nightclubs popping up all over the place here in the United States today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
After that performance.
Well, and the ones that are already here are probably going to be packed.
So here's what I'm saying, because a lot of people were saying it was the best halftime show ever. And, like, I get, you're
They
putting...
say that every year, by the way.
Yeah, for the most
say
part.
last year.
I'd say last year.
Not last year.
And listen, and I think it was a very diverse performance, which is really cool, right? Like, you're giving Puerto Rico some love. Props to them for doing that and everything. So, like, that was cool.
Well, it fits the culture of Miami.
Oh, of course. But let's not call it the best performance of all time, because there's Beyonce, and then, of course, my
Prince.
personal favorite. Thank you very much,
Prince
John.
in
Right
the
on
rain.
time, dude. Stockton to Malone. Prince in the rain singing Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Hey, goosebumps.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
right here, I got 'em.
Goosebumps.
That's what most people say. Most people
Yeah.
say
Prince was the best.
And then a lot of people do say Bruno Mars now.
Bruno Mars is fantastic. I'll give it to him.
No,
but
John will. I won't.
Listen, I don't grade him.
I don't like Bruno Mars.
I just get caught. The whole show is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
To me,
believe me, I'm going to have to check out your DVR to actually see the up-close shots.
My only thing is,
Let's take it to the wall that says it all, bro.
Let's go. It still won't compare to 2006, all right? It still won't compare to that.
Shakira and J-Lo to the wall that says it all. Absolutely. That's on tomorrow's show.
I know Austin's not going to like this, but how are you not going to actually have Pitbull involved in any way? I mean, he's Mr. 305. You know what I mean?
Actually,
Who were the people involved?
I had a
J
bet on
Balvin
that.
I was kind of stuck on Shakira and J-Lo.
I know.
Was there
Two
anybody
guys
else?
that looked exactly the same.
They're
from like the 90s.
They're really famous though. Like they're
I'm
big
sure
name
they are.
producers and they make their own music. Yeah, they're really popular.
Okay.
But
There
how are
you
you not gonna
have
have
it.
Pitbull?
Yeah, I don't
because
know.
it was predictable. Maybe they like to keep us guessing.
Apparently, the demo of 40-year-old men in minivans doesn't
exactly.
exist
Well,
for Super Bowl night.
Hey, and actually, this was my prop bets I made with one of my friends. Will Pitbull make an appearance? And I said no because he opened for the Super Bowl halftime. He opened for like the Super Bowl show.
Oh, if you know that for sure. Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. So
but anyway, the ratings bonanza for the Super
top
Bowl.
10 of Super Bowls, right?
Is that what it was?
I think I heard that somewhere. Yeah, top 10 overall.
I saw
did really well here.
70 share. Here, which is just incredible numbers.
Our bosses were happy.
47 rating.
Yeah,
and glad you came in for the news because the news did well even late.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means they saw us down at the Super Bowl, which we appreciate that too.
Yep.
People stayed up late. Thank you.
They had the TVs on anyway.
How about this? My buddy Alex Brooks over at the Jags sent me this. This is a tweet from, and I don't know how to say his name, Michael Mulvihill on Twitter. Relatively mild weather in Kansas City may have sent some fans out of home and kept KC from setting a local ratings record for the Super Bowl. The shares are unbelievable. Peak share of 97.
Wow.
In Kansas City.
Wow.
So obviously hundreds of score.
Yes.
And they had a peak share. That means out of 100 TVs turned on in Kansas City, 97 of them.
The other 3 were playing golf, apparently.
or
maybe
they
not
went
6:30 at night. They were doing
used
something
their
else.
smart TV to look up more Shakira.
Those
and
folks
J-Lo.
were just at a house where they had the TV on. Is really what happened, right? Oh, jeez.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And that's so incredible. And the numbers would be like that around here. I'm not sure 97, but 70 for a Super Bowl that's not even – we were getting 70 shares for the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
75, I think, is what it peaked at in Jacksonville. So there's that thirst for it when it happens, and it will be like that in this area when the Jaguars make the Super Bowl someday.
Nicely stated.
How about the commercials, guys? I didn't really –
let's see.
Well,
there were a couple that I'm trying to remember now.
Here's my issue. They're all like cross promotion.
They were.
Like
there
was like Tides with
Pepsi
Doritos
and
then
Tide
It's expensive. You got to split the bill.
That's right. It was like $5.5 million for 30 seconds. Is that what I heard? I think that's what it was. Something crazy.
There was like the Lil Nas X one, which was the cowboy one. That was all right. That was cute. That's a good way to put it.
With the ultimate cowboy. That was what made that. I'm drawing a blank on that guy's name now. With the voice from, heaven. Oh, what's that guy's name? Somebody help me out.
Earl Jones? James Earl Jones?
No, not the other great voice.
I'll find it
he's in
second.
Tombstone. He's
I know, man. I'm so embarrassed
right
now.
So
Don't you
good.
put me on the spot.
I know. He does the Chevy commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Hang on.
Who's in Austin? This is where you guys usually bail me
whatever.
out.
So that guy was great.
I'll find him in a second. Sorry for the delay. Keep going, though.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't think there was any like epic.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Thank you very much, everybody. Sam Elliott.
You.
But I don't think there's anything that stood out in my mind. I can't remember. I mean, that was a good one, and I remember it now that you mention it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like. There's not the wasabi. There wasn't there was never
Baby
there wasn't
nut?
anything super.
Was the baby nut good?
The
Baby nut from the Peanuts?
Baby nut.
I didn't like that at all. I didn't like
serious.
that at all.
I'll tell you what, though, Brett.
Nobody listen, Twitter hates commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, because I follow along on Twitter like, these commercials suck. Another bad commercial.
Yeah.
Now, Twitter hates just about everything.
Yes,
that's a
fact.
general population.
That's fact.
But they seem to really hate commercials these days. Like, commercials just don't – it doesn't work. I will say this. I'm a little surprised that now, that's a lot of eyeballs, right?
Yeah.
But $5.5 million – I mean, are you really turning people over? If you hit a home run, I guess, like the Brady one won the day, right?
Yeah, that was
Didn't the Brady
because he got a
commercial
whole week out of that.
Well, that's right, but he was smart. That's a beautiful job of
Cryptic,
that. That's a fantastic
tweet.
By the way, we should be all ashamed of ourselves for not thinking that might have been a part of a commercial.
Well, somebody mentioned
Tom
it.
Brady, how much money are you making? How much more money do you need? How many pools do you need at your house, sir?
Well, but I mean,
Come on.
he's been giving him a discount for 10 years now, whatever it's been. So he's got to make up the difference.
You're married to Giselle.
By the
you're
way,
gonna
I
be just
forgot.
fine.
This was a no-brainer. The best commercial of the whole game was the Action News Jax commercial.
Hey,
Come on, how can I forget that one? Was I in
get
it? Twist?
Yeah, what a plot twist. So literally we're watching the Super Bowl. We're talking about prime time. It was like after halftime,
It was
right?
right before halftime. Or right after the game halftime, but yeah.
So leading up, so they were the opening act to
I was
Shakira
opening
and
act for
J-Lo.
Shakira, baby. You want to talk about a plot twist here. Number one, wasn't expecting an Action News Jax commercial. Number two, here's John Bachman for all my friends at the party, and all of a sudden this. Do you want to talk about the commercial?
Well, it was a fantastic commercial.
It's fantastic.
You see this little kid and mom, and she's slipping away from mom. Mom gets a phone call. There's a guy all black, and he's looking real sinister. And we called him the creepy hero in the spot because he's creepy at first, and he's going after the girl.
It looks like a girl's
and
getting
you're like,
abducted.
oh, he's about to snatch this girl.
Yeah. And I'm like, John, what are we watching here, dude?
Right?
Like, everyone's just like, oh, this is kind of unsettling. A girl getting kidnapped? Yeah.
Right?
I was literally like, John, you're my boy, dude. What are you doing to me right now? I'm at a party. Yes.
Right, but then you see the story from another angle. Boom, and the creepy guy is actually the hero saving the girl from darting out into the street and getting run over by a car.
I stood up and clapped. Like Shawshank Redemption in that commercial, 2 times I stood up and actually clapped. When it was done, dude. It was fantastic.
Outstanding. So that shows you that Action News Jax is covering all angles.
That's exactly
They're working around the story.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say.
That's exactly what we're trying to say. That's right.
A promo.
That was a bigger plot twist than actually the Super Bowl and the Chiefs coming back.
It was, man. Because I was like, what is this? I'm like, oh, okay, John, I see what you're doing.
I mean,
here.
I missed an opportunity right there for shameless self-promotion, and I'm totally with it.
Well, now I have to go look at it because I haven't seen it, and I wasn't in it, and I'm a little bothered by that.
It's okay. You're upset.
So I got it now. Real quickly, the only thing I did was show up and do what they told me to do. Of course, right?
Yeah.
So quick shout out to our promo department because they actually there was another market, a Denver market, actually did something very similar that was a fantastic spot, and so our promo folks saw that and said we can make this our own. So they tweaked it a little bit. Basically the same idea and made this thing, and
someone's getting
really
a call
good.
from some lawyers. It sounds like.
Nah, we're friends.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Listen, every good idea is stolen. Man.
Yeah,
I know.
Look at.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, I was just kidding. We're not on trial right now. I believe you.
The enemy stole a 1948 USC play.
You don't gotta. Hey, I was just cracking a joke here, and you're coming at me like I don't know.
So we got to defend the business.
I guess
CBS
so.
47, Fox 30 tonight, 5 o'clock in a couple minutes, John. So you got to go.
I guess I am.
You've done a lot of those commercials. Was it one of the best spots for Super Bowl that you've been involved in?
Oh, yeah, it was great. It was really, really well done. I mean, the time it took for these guys to put it together, I mean, shooting it took a long time for that little bit that I was in. It took a long time to get just everything right so they could edit it and make it look. When you see it, it really is. I mean, they spent a lot of time. So hats off to the many folks in promos who did that. It was really good.
I was literally like, John, what are we doing here? And all of a sudden, John, I see you, dude.
There it is.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
So
the
if
plot twist.
you're the people listening right now are going, well, dang, I want to see this thing.
Yeah.
If for no other reason, I'm curious. I did tweet it out, so you
There
can
you
see
go.
it on Twitter. I don't know if I put it on Instagram or not, but it's definitely, and it's on my Facebook page, so you'll find it if you want to look for it. Real quickly, coming up on Action News Jax at 5, both on CBS 47, Fox 30. A couple big things. First of all, we've got a story about some dog food that's giving dogs serious problems. Veterinarians are concerned about it. Don't ask me a lot of the details, but it is in our report. You'll get all the information you need to protect your dog coming up at 5. Of course, we're talking about Calais Campbell winning the Walter Payton Award. I mean, there is
Huge
no one
honor.
greater for the community than this guy. I mean,
I like that you're doing that story. A little follow up today.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
the only bigger than his smile is his heart, right? I mean, that guy is fantastic. I think he's wonderful for the Jags and for us. And then tonight is the Iowa caucus. Now, I could have talked for hours on the Iowa caucus. The Dems are going to be trying to whittle away at some of these candidates. They got 100 of them, it seems. And, I grew up in Iowa. I went back and covered the Iowa caucuses in 2012 when I worked for our sister station in Atlanta, which was a real thrill. That was back when Newt Gingrich was running, along with a whole bunch of other people. Romney ended up getting the nod. And just had a lot of great stories coming out of my experiences there. So
it's like a sporting event, isn't it? There?
It really is a huge deal for Iowans. Every 4 years, the nation focuses their attention on Iowa, which rarely happens.
Yeah.
Of course,
They're prideful in that.
Think about it. The only time
Very
I've heard the word
prideful.
caucus comes out of Iowa. Iowa. I feel like Iowa.
No, it's right. It's the only one.
Usually,
and it is,
other than that, it's always carcass.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of caucus.
Ouch.
It's roadkill. It's all good. I see where you're going out there, Brent. You're good.
Anyway, so we're gonna of course cover the caucuses a little bit. I mean, people in Florida maybe not care too much about it, but those of you who do, after the newscast at 7:30 tonight, I'm going to do a Facebook Live, and we're going to look at some of those stories I did back in 2012.
Nice.
I'll take a lot of questions.
Young John Bachman.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, my forehead was a little smaller back then. The retreat was only just beginning.
Yeah.
It was fun 3 days that I was there. It was 8 years ago today, and if you have questions on how the caucuses work, we're going to do that at 7:30, and then at 8 o'clock our time is when the caucuses actually start in Iowa, and so we'll start getting some results, I think, by our 10 o'clock newscast on Fox 30.
All right, you got to get going soon. CBS 47, Fox 30 coming up at 5 o'clock, so make sure you stay tuned to that, including a story on Calais Campbell winning the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. We're going to talk more about Calais in just 1 second. We also want to tell everybody that you're on the board, I think, right, for
I am.
First Tee of North Florida.
Absolutely.
And we've done some work with our Dream 18 in the past, and I love all the folks at the First Tee of North Florida. But we're going to give away some golf carts.
Absolutely. These are great. If you haven't heard of them, they're the tour cards. They give you discounted rates, really good deals at some golf courses, a lot of different golf courses in our area. And the proceeds to buying these cards, I'm drawing a blank on how much they are now. I'll go find out.
Usually $99.
$99?
I think they're $99.
I'll get that information for you. But the 100% of the proceeds go to First Tee North Florida, which is a fantastic organization. If you haven't heard of it, you can look it up on their website. But they do great work, and they're in local schools in Duval. They're doing stuff all over the place for our youth today.
All right. So, and we're going to give away in the next couple of weeks. We're going to give away some of these. I think Wednesday will be our first one.
Okay.
So
you got some stuff going on.
We're going to be at the Players Championship. The TPC Sawgrass from the show, and so we'll give away one.
Awesome.
And then we'll do a couple more as the next couple of weeks go.
And they are available. You can go buy them if you don't win one. You can buy them.
Where do firsttee.org or firsttnorthflorida.org.
Yes.
You can. I think it's firsttnorthforda.org.
If you
can also go to the PGA Tour Superstore.
They are selling them in the store there.
And they sell them there as well.
That's the only place that they sell them in person. The rest of the places is at the First Tee North Florida website. You Google First Tee of North Florida, you'll find their website, and you can buy it there.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
All right, guys.
Have
thank you so much.
CBS 47, Fox 30, and then check out the Facebook with John on ActionNewsJax.com immediately following the show tonight. All right. Mentioned Calais Campbell. Mm-hmm. Walter Payton Man of the Year. Oh, that is awesome.
It's a huge honor.
Do you know, I think the NFL considers it a bigger award than the MVP.
Really? I mean,
they save it to the last one of that show.
Yeah.
They say it's the most prestigious award there is.
Okay.
And I understand sports fans would be like, oh, yeah, the NFL MVP. I get it. It's a big award. But this is a huge award. That's how much Walter Payton, first of all, is revered in Chicago and around the league. That's how much his family is still prevalent and passing along Walter Payton's legacy. And if you look at the nominees and the award winners over the years, some fantastic names, and we know really some good people in the community across NFL cities. And we know all about Calais Campbell. So I tell you, I had the disappointment of Baselli, and then I was overjoyed for Calais because I genuinely believe, I think players like accolades. I think they put a lot of work in. And when you get community accolades, there's a lot of work being done, and that's not why you do it. But for it to be recognized, and the story, I think, of Calais Campbell to be shared, from being homeless at times to his dad's legacy and what he's created in his dad's name with the CRC Foundation and what he's done on the field. I say this all the time about Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell is such a good person, a good man, probably number one on my list of people I've covered, players, athletes I've covered in 20 years of doing this. Mm-hmm. And I like to think we have a little bit of a special relationship because of our show, so I'm probably a bit biased there. But you forget how great of a player he is because he's such a good guy. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do. When you're that good of a player, if you look at his resume, which might soon warrant Hall of Fame consideration with another good couple years, it's almost the subplot of who he is because he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough to do.
It's very tough to do, and it's very telling of the character that Calais Campbell possesses. Because it seems like in the NFL and covering the NFL or really covering any kind of professional sport is, people tend to gravitate more towards the bad stories, all that clickbait and everything, where sometimes you need to be reminded that there is good out there. There is the J.J. Watts out there that are raising a lot of money for hurricanes back in 2017. There are the good guys like Chris Long who donated every single paycheck that he received to the inner cities of Philadelphia to help schools, to help parks be built. That was last year. And there are good guys like Calais Campbell this year getting nominated. Yeah, to me, I mean, obviously this award's an important thing, Brent, because it keeps the conversation going about the good that's happening from the NFL. So I do agree with you where it's almost bigger than the MVP award just because it kind of reminds you of there is more than football, right?
Yeah.
There is
the
more
power of the NFL,
There is
right?
more than what we see on the field.
Yeah.
There is stuff in the communities outside of football. So from that standpoint, yes, I do agree with you. I think it is a bigger award and couldn't have happened to a better guy like Calais Campbell. And let's be fair here, Brent. Okay, it's one thing to be a Pro Bowl player in the NFL. Okay, that takes time, work, dedication to your craft. People can say, yeah, I would play in the NFL. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'm sure you would. Then try spending, 16 hours a day, watching film, getting your body right, getting massages. That sounds nice, let's be honest.
Actually, that part does sound nice.
Sitting in cold tubs, and we're back. And now we're foam rolling. We're sitting in cold tubs. We're getting acupuncture.
We're foam rolling again.
We're getting acupuncture.
Damn you, Campbell.
Your IT bands are on fire, okay? So there's a lot of things that go into it. And being a legit NFL player, that's tough enough as it is. But then to go above and beyond and do work in the communities, not being asked to, but actually want to start programs, to always take time for the fans to sign autographs, take pictures, all that stuff, that speaks volume of Calais Campbell, and it speaks volume of anybody that can actually accomplish that because it is not an easy task.
All right, I've got a quote. We didn't get to it right here. We're going to take a break. I promise we'll do the two questions. Yann or Calais, which is worse, losing in 2020 from a perception standpoint, public perception standpoint? Listen, Yann's 10 years younger. I get it if you're starting a team or if you're building your team. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in 2020. If you announce one of those guys, it ain't happening, they're not here. Which is worse? In what has already been a pretty tough PR 6 months for the Jags. And has he already earned a spot in the pride of the Jaguars? Can you do that in just 3 years? Calais Campbell? Talk about it next, ESPN 690.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Would Stugotz make a good president of the United States? 51% of the audience said yes. But listen, when you run on a platform of Super Bowl Saturday, when everyone feels miserable on Monday, I mean, you got to get shot.
America's united on this. Like, we shouldn't feel this way today.
Nice. The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
It's the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18, and it can be your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210, family owned and operated, and a fun course to play. The Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facility and player-friendly golf course design, it will be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. Become a member in 2020. For more information, call the Golf Club at Southampton at 904-287-PLAY. Do what we do and chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. They are my favorite wings in town. People love them at our ESPN 690 party to celebrate a year. You can just celebrate good wings, good food, and a fun atmosphere at Mr. Chubby's Wings. So many flavors to choose from. But you know what my favorite is, the Maple Cajun. Go give it a try. Drink specials, a full menu, and lots of TVs to watch any sport. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings, 2 locations on the west side and in Fleming Island.
There's a new sports medicine practice in Jacksonville.
Hi, my name is Stan Longenecker.
Hi, I'm Dr. Grimsley.
I'm Dr. Michael Adams.
Ortho Edge.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients every time.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
So when you're shopping online, have you ever seen one of those spin the wheels to get your discount things? Well, I don't know about you, but I like a sure thing, especially when it comes to saving big money. How about you? Then don't leave your savings to chance. Leave it to Arlington Toyota and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s. How about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? It's not $15,995. Now it's only $11,191. That's $11,191 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington. Gotta have a 2019 Toyota 4Runner? It's not $31,755. No, it's $26,991. $26,991 for a pre-owned 2019 2019 Toyota 4Runner at Arlington. Plus, you'll get all the rewards and benefits of the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club, including lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles with your purchase. Don't leave your savings to chance. Leave it to Arlington Toyota and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s. Go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. Spin the wheel for offer details.
Love is in the air at Beard's Diamonds.
And you'll love this incredible offer. 0% financing store-wide.
Yes, get zero interest financing for 5 years on anything and everything.
But hurry, this incredible free financing won't last long.
How about a $6,000 designer setting?
You pay just $100 a month. You just spread your payments out over 60 months.
And get her that piece of jewelry she's been dreaming of. How about a GIA certified diamond with a Decoria Veragio setting for $12,000?
You pay just $200 a month.
Buying fine jewelry has never been better.
People drive from all over to Beard's Diamonds for the best selection, best prices, and now 0% financing for 5 years.
Pick out that one-of-a-kind piece, then divide your total by 60, and that's what you pay a month.
Beard's Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
Or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Where exceptional is affordable.
At AutoZone, we've got great deals for you to get more out of your ride. Right now, buy one bottle of Gum Out Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. And if you're dealing with a pesky check engine light, check out our free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help you troubleshoot the likely issue and drive with peace of mind. Getting the job done just got easier. Visit AutoZone.com to get started. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Hey guys, Mike Golick here. Athletes are still athletes when they're off the field. That's why they still need to make good choices, like staying hydrated with Bolt 24, with antioxidant vitamins A and C, electrolytes from watermelon and sea salt, and no artificial sweeteners or flavors. Bolt 24 is all-day hydration for all-day athletes. It's available in delicious flavors like watermelon, strawberry, tropical mango, and mixed berry, and can be found in the sports drink aisle at most major retailers. Bolt 24, all-day hydration.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN
At this hour, high praise from Andy Reid today for Chiefs quarterback Pat Mahomes, who helped deliver the team's first Super Bowl victory in 50 years and the first Super Bowl win for Reid as a head coach. Reid said it's amazing to watch what Mahomes can do on the field, as well as his ability to lead and make everybody around him better. Mahomes now eligible for an extension, and whatever payday the MVP of Super Bowl 54 gets, he's certainly worth it, in the opinion of Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Dungy.
This guy is unbelievable, and I've said it since I watched him play last year in his first few starts. Just unbelievable poise and leadership, and you hear all these players talk about, hey, when we got Pat Mahomes, we never worried. Hey, we weren't concerned. We know we've got Patrick.
Tony Dungy on Golick and Wingo. Falcons don't plan to offer defensive end Vic Beasley a new contract, so the former first-round pick will become an unrestricted free agent. NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Celtics and Hawks have engaged the Rockets in Clint Capella trade talks. The trade deadline Thursday at 3 Eastern. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I think the turning point was when we got a turnover and then we didn't execute on offense and they got the ball right back and drove it 87 yards or however far it was. As an offense, we have to end the game right there, and we didn't.
That's George Kittle, San Francisco 49ers. Matter of fact, he was pretty quiet. Had the big moment in the game with the offensive pass interference, which, again, I thought that was such a good throw by Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. And he didn't need to do it. You know, it seemed like he had the separation enough. The ball was so perfectly placed. And it got called. I'm not denying that it is a play that doesn't get called sometimes, too. But I'm also not here to say that it was a bad call. I think whatever way they called it, I think you would have accepted. And very tough to do that if you are rooting for one of the teams, or like I would say, have money on one of the teams. But if you're a neutral observer, that could go either way. But I think it was the right call. And sometimes that's the way it happens. 50-50 plays usually go to the winners, or more of them. And that was at least 3 points, what it looked like, and the Chiefs end up winning the football game. Kind of going away, but it obviously will always be remembered as much closer than the score indicated at 31-20. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos. We're all back in studio. At least for a little bit.
Home field advantage.
We'll hit the road next week quite a bit, actually. Going to be at the TPC Sawgrass on Wednesday. There's a little media day out there that will run right into our show, so I'll at least be out there. Not sure where Austin's going to be.
I mean, I can come out there and take pictures, with you and the fans and everything like that, because that's what happens when we go to TPC.
It does. The crowds won't build
kind of
for
a
another
celebrity.
month.
Okay, well,
especially
even
for
the workers, even the groundskeepers.
But I'll have my Sharpie ready.
Okay. That's good. That's good. And I'll have my camera ready.
Very good. We can give out koozies now, too.
Nice.
I'm going to have to bring some koozies, too.
Now we're
That's
talking.
a good place to bring out koozies,
Heck
right?
Yeah, man.
Are we allowed? I'm going to have to check with the Players' Championship. Are we allowed to bring out promotional material?
For us, yeah.
We're new at this.
We are. I say we do it, man. Let's push it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I like it.
Yeah, let's push the brand.
Let's do it. All right, hey, before I've really been trying to get this part of it on Calais Campbell. I've thought about this a lot. See, I gotta be a little careful with Calais Campbell, and I feel bad when we say it to him even. He's under contract, but he's going to cost a lot of money. And at the end of the year, I think it was pretty crystal clear that the Jags were going to have to make some economic decisions. A.J. Boye, Marcel Darius, Calais is on that list. It's a lot of money. And so are you still going to get that productivity as he gets a little older? Where are you going to slice some of these contracts? Could you rework? There's no doubt. Everybody in Jags headquarters, top down, everybody in the city wants Calais Campbell back in 2020. But can they afford to keep him back? Does it benefit the team if he's making $15, $16, $17 million? That's the question. And at the end of the year, when I sat down with him, I asked some of those questions. And he said he still feels like he's worth $15 million. And now the question is, will his role change at all? Will he play his same amount of plays? Will they ask him to cut back a little bit? And if they do that, could they ask him to cut back some of the dollars? They clearly could. But they'd have to make the first move and say, hey, we want to restructure. We really want to keep you. Are you willing to do it? Or they just have to release him, and then he could see what's out there in free agency. What's interesting to me is since we had that conversation a few weeks back right after the season, there have been notable things that have happened. I don't know how much you want to put into Pro Football Focus, but Pro Football Focus named him the best run defender in the NFL this year. They rated him.
Yeah.
Even though Calais admits that he missed more tackles than he's ever missed in his career, but they rated him the top run defender.
Yeah.
If I'm his agent, I'm playing that up.
Oh, you have to.
Right?
How could you not?
If I'm Calais, I'm playing that up. And then he goes to the Pro Bowl for the third straight year in a Jags uniform. He's earned every bit of the money he's made already. And he wins the defensive MVP for the AFC team. What does that mean in the big picture? Probably not much, but you get my point. It's building. And then maybe the most impressive thing and the hardest thing to do to part ways or ask for restructure or do anything to upset number 93 being in Jacksonville, he wins the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which signifies what he's meant to this organization, to this city, to the NFL in a way that few awards do.
Should be throwing a parade for him right now.
I mean, it almost feels that way, right?
Yeah.
But can they afford to let go that guy that in 3 years has been unbelievable, instrumental in the locker room, All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, Bart Starr award winner, still has game left.
Yeah.
Can they afford to do that from a public perception standpoint? Forget about the on-field.
Yeah.
What will this place do if Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone say, hey, you know what, we just don't think he's worth that much anymore, and he's now going to go play for Denver or Baltimore or Indianapolis or wherever? What's worse, losing Calais or losing Yannick Ngakoue, which right now I still think the franchise tag is very much in play, but it certainly doesn't look like they're close to getting a deal done, and it looks like Yannick Ngakoue wants to go. What is worse from the fan perspective, from the people outside that building here in Jacksonville, losing Calais or losing Yann?
This is such a genius question, and I've been going back and forth on it. Let me go ahead and try to break it down like this, okay? Let's say you're in college and you meet your college sweetheart. Sounds familiar, right? And you meet your college sweetheart and you guys get married and you have a family and everything's great. That's Yannick Ngakoue.
Hi, Steph.
That's Yannick Ngakoue, right? You put the time in, you got to know each other and everything. You said, you know what? Something special about this girl. I'm going to spend my time with her. When other guys are going to parties, you're probably staying behind, and you guys didn't have Netflix back then, so you're probably watching VHS tapes.
Very true,
yeah.
actually.
So you're watching VHS tapes. I don't know what was big back then. What was
Lion King.
Jerry Maguire. Okay, I don't know what
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. What? Okay. To each their own. That's a good date movie, I guess.
Aladdin.
Yeah, so you guys are staying in.
First movie we ever saw was Seven, actually.
Hey. What an icebreaker. What's in the box, huh?
Seriously, that was the first movie we ever saw.
Jeez, man. Well, that's what you got to keep her. She's going to stay with you after watching Seven.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Exactly.
It just kind of clicked in.
So that's Yannick Ngakoue, right? You spend time with it, you develop it, you kind of scout. I don't want to say you scouted it out, but you scouted it, and you decided, you know what? That's our guy. Or that's my girl. But we can work with that, right? There's something special there. Calais Campbell would be like the Russian mail order bride that you order, and it's like, you know what, I hope this works out, but I'm not positive. I'm going to spend a lot of money, and hopefully they come overseas and it pans out to be well. And guess what? Couldn't be more better, right? Like, she's a total knockout, obviously. She does everything around the house for you, and everything, she goes above and beyond for you. So my question to you, Brent, is which one would be more keen to keeping? The mail order bride, or this person that you met in college that you were kind of keen to and spent more time with?
Well, if you
putting Brett on the spot.
This can go very wrong for you.
Look at how I'm trying to shape what I want him to say.
Yes,
this is all I'm doing right now.
Well, first of all, you're doing two things to me.
Yeah.
You're making me pick. Like, I have to say the way that it worked out with Steph, and now
Yannick
for 20 years.
Yannick Ngakoue.
And now you're making me pick Yann over Calais.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm in a no-win situation here.
You are in a no-win situation. But here's my point, though. It's from a fan's perspective, from a culture perspective, from anyone's perspective, Yann was drafted, okay? And that carries some weight. Because I've broken this down before. If you can't keep your draft picks on your roster, you're not going to be successful. I don't care what team you are. I don't care what kind of free agents you bring in. Now, obviously, in a perfect world, and I got nothing but love for Calais Campbell, and I think he deserves the money that he's about to get. I don't think he should ask for a pay cut, because needless to say, the stats, the analytics, the awards, they say he shouldn't have to ask for that. So whether he wants to have a hometown discount or not, we'll see. I doubt he would, because why would you want to? I wouldn't if I was him. But I'm just saying, from the perspective of, do you keep the younger guy that you brought in, that you cultivated, or do you keep the guy that you just kind of brought over, not really on a whim, but you took a chance on him, you paid him the money, it worked out? I'm taking the young guy that you spent time with, man. I'm taking that college sweetheart 10 times out of 10.
That's interesting. I don't know if I love the analogy, and I'm sure Calais would not be.
Tell me I'm wrong, though.
I don't know
Tell
if Calais would love.
Tell me I'm wrong,
compared to a male or a bride.
Tell me, hey, where else but ESPN690 can you get that kind of information?
Yeah, not really. I'm trying to compute it all right now, actually.
But you get what I'm trying to say, though, right?
No, I do. I think it's a good point. I think it's a fair point. It's now or later.
Yeah.
And, again, I don't ask this from building a team. I think Calais would say the same. If I asked him to this, like building this franchise for the next 10 years, well, obviously Yannick Ngakoue could hurt you more losing Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, he's got so many more years left. But this place is in love with Calais Campbell.
As it should be.
And by the way, they love Yann, too. Like the fans, I mean, we get so many requests for Yann. Hey, come to the show, come in here, come in there. I mean, we get a ton. So they love Yann. It's not a knock on Yann. It's more just praise for Calais. I mean, it would almost, it feels a little bit where this has already, again, been a tough 6 or 8 months here in Jacksonville, football-wise and stuff. Losing Ramsey, and I mean, I know that's kind of settled in a different way now, but that whole thing, the whole Coughlin thing, everything, and it would almost like Calais right now feels like the soul of the team.
Correct.
He feels like the soul of the franchise.
Well, and let's be honest, I think he's more of a pillar right now than Yannick Ngakoue is. And that's not to knock Yannick Ngakoue's leadership, but let's be honest.
Might be the soul of the team in the next 5 years.
Sure.
Like that torch could be passed this year.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
But let's say it like this. If you're bringing a new coaching staff in this year, so let's say Doug Marrone doesn't keep his job, let's say Dave Caldwell's out, who are you more confident with the new coaching staff coming in and saying, all right, we have to meet with somebody to try to get the lay of the land around the Jacksonville Jaguars? Who are you meeting with first?
Well, listen, I think Shad Khan met with Calais Campbell and other players to keep Doug Marrone. So, to make his decision. And keeping Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell, I think it was part of it. I don't think they made the decision. But I think he met with them and that committee of players, if you will. So, yeah, I think, again, this is public perception based. I do think losing Calais right now, because here's what's going to happen. If you lose Yann, the organization's going to come out, whether it's true or not, and say they offered Yann $100 million, even though they probably didn't. And they're going to say they offered him $100 million and he denied it, and he couldn't make it work. And so people immediately will be like, he turned down $100 million? Are you kidding me? He turned down $100 million? They're going to play that game.
Of course.
And that game, already to a degree, they tried to play that game last year, and people were like, take the money, right?
Yeah.
And so public perception-wise is really where this question was based. I think losing Yann in the immediate would be less damaging than losing Calais. I really do.
Interesting.
But we know long-term it could be if Yann could end up in the Hall of Fame, he's on a pace of crazy amount of sacks, and he's 24. So, and by the way, I think Yann has a chance to, I don't know if he's going to be Calais Campbell. I don't know if they make too many guys like Calais Campbell.
No, have you seen his size, Brett? Yeah. Of course they don't.
But, there's the fabric of Calais Campbell, of who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard thing to live up to for any player, to be that guy. But I do think he has a real chance to kind of take this locker room, be the personality of the locker room, a leader of the locker room. Yann does. So I think he has every bit of a chance to kind of be in this community for a long time. And we haven't had too many players recently that have been able to stay for a long time, be productive at the same time, and maybe even win at the same time. That hasn't happened around here in a long time. So Yann has a chance here to really grow into kind of this superhero in Jacksonville. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he has a chance to do that. But right now, it feels like Calais Campbell is a superhero in Jacksonville. And you can, by the way, you can kill me if you want, if I'm overplaying that. Because, again, I'm told you, I'm a little biased. But I talk to a lot of folks out there. And we see them all at Mellow Mushroom. We see him. I see the interactions. He is literally a superhero to a lot of these, lot of kids, moms, dads, fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And I 100% agree with you that he is a superhero in terms of the community and what he does for the city of Jacksonville. Hands down. I think anybody would come with you on that one. But don't sell Jaguars fans short about their knowledge of the football game, because all you had to watch last night was the 49ers defensive line. And you had to watch them for 3 quarters. And you had to watch them how they handled Patrick Mahomes for 3 quarters. Mwah, chef's kiss. Fantastic. Contained him, 2 interceptions, literally just a couple plays away from winning the Super Bowl. Well, that defense stemmed on 2 legit defensive ends. And those guys were D Ford and Bosa, okay? And I'm not knocking Calais Campbell at all as far as his pass rush, his moves, his skill set, because it's good. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. But I think from a position standpoint of, would you rather keep a really good Pro Bowl like 3 technique, or would you rather keep a very promising, possibly all-pro one-day defensive end? I think a lot of fans, including myself, would say you keep the defensive end because you can do so much with that when you have both edges contained. Now, don't get me wrong. They get the community stuff, and that's fantastic too, Brett. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that can't be stated enough, like how good of the charity work that Calais Campbell does, and I understand that. But people also want to win games. Let's be honest, man. This is the National Football League.
Absolutely. Yeah, and two different questions.
There are two different questions. I think from that standpoint, you have to go with the young, promising defensive end who's been consistent so far in his time in Jacksonville.
This seems like a silly question at face value. But let's just say, and I don't know how this is going to shake out. I really don't with Calais. But let's just say he doesn't play again in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
The impact he's had in 3 years, does it warrant the pride of the Jaguars? And be careful answering this because it's a slippery slope. You know, you got to be – you can't just put anybody in the pride of the Jaguars. He's not just anybody. He's already fourth all-time in sacks in this franchise's history. He's made 3 Pro Bowls. He's been an All-Pro. He's a Bart Starr Award winner, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Jaguars have never had that. He is the mayor of Jacksonville. He was part of that defense that was renowned. And you know, here's what I think. When I think of the pride of the Jaguars sometimes, what I try to do is say, okay, in 20 years, when X player comes back and they get introduced on the field, how does the crowd react? Yep. And there's different levels of that, right? When I'm not going to put the levels of players, but when Jimmy Smith comes back, and especially when he hasn't been back in a while, and he's had his troubles at times, but he's still beloved because of everything he did, and there's people rooting for him and trying to pick him up and hoping that comeback, not on the football field, but in life happened and has, and hopefully stays happening. He gets a loud cheer.
Yep.
When Tony Baselli walks on the field, I think it's a little different with Tony because he's so prevalent around here. So it's not like you feel like you see Tony every day.
No, for sure.
But even when Fred Taylor has been out there before, you know, when
Very
those guys come back,
boisterous roars. Yep.
it's a huge roar.
Me? Go us! That was my mom in the stands. That was about it.
By the way, but again, we're raising your profile here. So when you come back in 20 years, I mean,
as long as one day my face is up in the press box, like in that gold statue thing, and if not, I'll take a Polaroid and put it up there myself. I don't care. Somebody stop me. But my face is getting on that wall one day.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, if I end up with a tattoo, you may end up with a loud cheer.
There we go.
A loud ovation.
But I get what you're saying, though, Brett. Yeah.
So regardless of if you put him in the pride of the Jaguars or not, when Calais Campbell comes back to Jacksonville in 15 or 20 years, whether he plays another game or not, that place is going to be standing on their feet for Calais Campbell. And that's my point. And I wonder if he's already warranted himself a spot as one of the most impactful players in Jacksonville Jaguars history.
Correct.
And it's 25 seasons, even though he only played 3.
And I get it. I'm always on the player's side. I'm very biased, and so shoot me. Here I go again. I think if you look at the past decade, Brent, of the Jacksonville Jaguars, what stands out to you from a season standpoint? It's 2017.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Without a doubt. And that season was defined by the defense. And on that defense, I think that defense was led by a first-team All-Pro guy by the name of Calais Campbell, 14.5 sacks. So, like,
maybe should have been Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL that year.
Correct. So, like, I get it. I mean, once again, we can talk about longevity. How long was he in Jacksonville? All that good stuff. I just put it from, you know, whoever goes in the circle, it's like who has a direct impact, number one, not only on the teams, but of the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And like it or not, but 2017 will be commemorated as one of the best seasons in Jaguars history.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. And one of the best defenses in Jaguars history.
Be tough to top.
Exactly. And the guy that was leading the way on that defense was Calais Campbell. So I think he absolutely deserves to be in the Ring of Honor, even if he doesn't come back next year.
Yeah. So I think, it will be interesting as people vary on that, right? People don't want to just put anybody in the pride of the Jaguars. And I'm a little different. If you look around the NFL, I've been to a lot of stadiums, and you'll look up and you'll be like, well, who was that guy?
Sure.
You know, who was that guy? Like, you'd think only household names would be there, and I feel like I know a decent amount of the history of the game. But even I'll be like Googling that guy, like, who the heck is that? You know?
Yeah.
And to a degree, and I love this guy, I think if opposing people came in and said, who is Brad Meester? they would probably have to Google and be like, who's Brad Meester?
That's a good point.
But I'm not convinced Brad Meester doesn't belong in the pride of the Jaguars. I'd be okay with Brad Meester. He's Mr. Jaguar in terms of games played. Like, I'd be okay with, but there are a lot of people that say, no. That's not that. There's a cutoff here.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Listen, people. Rasheed Mathis.
Yeah.
Tom Coughlin will be there someday. Keenan McCardell. Could he be there someday? So again, people have varying opinions. I respect their opinion on it. I just don't think it has to be this exclusive 5 people that are in that. I don't care if you have a ring around the whole damn stadium in that regard. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, let's answer this question, though, Brent. So, Calais Campbell, maybe we're on the fence about what we think, if he should be in it or not. I think he should. I think you're kind of following with me. You say he should, too.
Well, yeah, and I'm completely biased on any Calais front, I will totally admit.
But here's the point, though. Yannick Ngakoue, go back to your question. You have a guy right now at his pace will definitely be in the ring, in the circle,
of the
Jaguars. So why wouldn't you try to keep him? Why isn't he the top? I mean, maybe he is a top priority, but once again, that goes to show you just how important, maybe even more important than Calais Campbell, he's of keeping.
Again, from a football standpoint, I can't get by. One of my arguments for Calais Campbell going to the pride of the Jaguars is he's 4th all-time already in sacks in 3 years.
Sure.
Well, guess who's number 2 all-time in 4 years?
Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah.
I mean, I can't get by that. And any Yannick Ngakoue, you're talking about an organization that hasn't been littered with pass rushers. And Yannick Ngakoue is already number 2. And if he stays here for another 3 or 4 years, he'll be number 1 and he'll smash records.
Yeah.
Like, nobody will catch him.
Yeah.
Maybe. So that's the one I'm stuck on with Yann above anything else, that you have to keep him. You have to find a way. It certainly doesn't seem like it's headed that way still. I have a bad feeling about Yann in terms of anything getting done.
I don't think he wants to be here, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think Yann's going to have a decision to make, because I do think they'll franchise him. And that will be a tough decision for Yann to sit out for $19 million. Those are conversations we'll have down the road. We come back to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, how many will he win? I'm setting the over-under at 2.5. You going over? You going under? When we continue, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Clear and cool tonight, dropping into the upper 40s. Plenty of sun and mild Tuesday, highs in the mid-70s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time,
0% financing store-wide.
Find out more at beardsdiamonds.com.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy for you to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special in-store designer trunk shows, and 3 years zero-interest financing on any Valentine's purchase. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. As part of our Valentine's celebration this Friday and Saturday, we're hosting an exclusive designer event featuring world-renowned designer Simon G. See an expanded selection of Simon G creations, including some new items never seen before. And no matter what you choose for the one you love, you're guaranteed the best price. Plus, you can spread your payments over 3 years with zero interest on approved credit. Check out our online gift guide and even shop online if you like. DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
Are you over hearing about the new year? Then what do you say instead of joining the new bandwagon, we go used? And that starts by saving big on a used car at Arlington Toyota. At Arlington, you have over 400 pre-owned to choose from on the lot every day, and 60 vehicles are priced under $12,000. With every pre-owned purchase at Arlington, you join the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club. It's filled with savings, benefits, and rewards to take your Arlington purchase to the next level. Buying pre-owned at Arlington means big-time selection and the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club. Plus, you get top dollar for your trade-in. Even same model year cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? This new year, go used at Arlington Toyota. Arlington's even got your free iPrecheck service powered by TransUnion to instantly get your real-time credit score, interest rate, payment, and pre-qualification without affecting your score, and no Social Security numbers required. Make 2020 the best used year yet when you shop and save at Arlington Toyota. In person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
I'm Mark Kinder with Affordable Water. There's a process in water treatment called ion exchange. This process actually removes hardness using very little salt with our demand metered systems. Our dual media system softens and filters water for your home or business. Affordable Water has been educating and serving Jacksonville for 30 years. We're licensed locally as well as on the state and national level. Affordable Water, 262-0197. That's Affordable Water, 262-0197. License number W32.
AffordableWaterJacks.com.
Eggnog in the carpet, wine on the sofa, dingy looking tile and grout? No problem. Call Zero Res. Zero Res technicians are cleaning freaks. Over 2,600 Google reviews with a 4.9 stars. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Now, the news and internet are blowing up about those do-it-yourself cameras being hacked, putting all consumers on edge. Children are being terrified while in their rooms, and mothers are being watched in their own homes, and family videos are actually being recorded and sold without the customers being aware or even compensated. These do-it-yourself doorbells are good ideas gone bad, and those stronger passwords they tell you to use, they're going to do very little to alleviate that problem. It's just plain cheap equipment lacking encryption. Don't fall for a false sense of security that can make your family less safe. SafeTouch has those cameras and video doorbells, but they are integrated into the security system. The SafeTouch two-way communicator is still the fastest way to receive emergency response. Combined with the halo of detection, your home and family can have true peace of mind when they have SafeTouch security. Now get yours by going to safetouch.com or call 888-723-8682. SafeTouch, doing what others can't for over 35 years.
GALVA 04188. SCBFS 12423 BAQ EF 00023.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. And that means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather. And that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
After a long day, having my dogs meet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets' friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 8 offices is nearest you. And don't forget the newest location in Riverside, Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. Happy Monday. The Super Bowl is over and the Kansas City Chiefs are the world champions for the first time in 50 years. The game had plenty of drama as the Chiefs had to come back from behind to go ahead and win 31-20. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Chiefs, was named the MVP, and here he is on why he wanted to win a championship for Coach Andy Reid.
He's someone that works harder than anyone I've ever known, and he deserved it. And so I'm glad that we were able to go out there and get that trophy for him.
And even though they didn't make the postseason, Jag picked up some hardware this weekend. It was D lineman Calais Campbell, who was named the NFL's Man of the Year, which celebrates off-the-field charitable works. Congrats, Calais. You deserve it. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best-kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Golick and Wingo.
That's your first mistake is leaving read receipts on. Don't do that to yourself. Friends out there, reach out to the screen and receive this blessing right now. Turn your read receipts off and vice versa. You don't need that mental warfare in your life.
Where are read receipts?
I'm going to do the Men in Black thing right now. We're just going to completely erase what just happened there from your thought process. Read receipts aren't a real thing to you. Okay. And that goes for everyone listening. Cool. Remove it from your life.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Brent Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
That's just the type of team that we are. That's the type of teammates, that's the type of characters that we have in that locker room. We got his back just like he would have our back. He did a great job tonight, but like you said, we just couldn't get it done, and it was just unfortunate.
Raheem Mostert for the San Francisco 49ers, and I think at the end of the day, if you look up the Kansas City Chiefs and they hold him to 58 yards after he ran for 220-something, I think it was, in the NFC Championship game, well, you'd sign up for that any day of the week, and you'd say we'd be raising the Lombardi Trophy. At the end of the day, they were right, even though it didn't kind of go as planned. I think if you told people that Mostert ran for just 58 yards, I think they would have said Kansas City blew him out.
But once again, only 12 carries, though, Brent.
12 carries.
You know?
And that is that's
carries.
a good number to say, 12 carries. But what was interesting is Deebo Samuel was the MVP if they won that game, it felt like.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because he was all over the place. Yep. I will say this. We'll talk more about the Jags. This is Super Bowl day, and we've talked to Calais Campbell and Tony Baselli. And it is hard not to sit there and watch that game. And by the way, I said this at 10-10 at half, so it's not like they were lighting up the scoreboard. But to watch the creativity on offense,
especially in that red zone, man.
But why can't anybody do that? Like, you're in the NFL. You've been around football. Why can't we do that in Jacksonville is a fair question. Like, why can't Jay Gruden, are you going to do some of that stuff? Like, we praised Flip for a little bit because there was a little bit of that in the first month of the year. Then that seemed to go away. Mm-hmm. But why can everybody else run people in motion, hand off to wide receivers, spin
rookies,
in the backfield,
man. Rookies.
Run
Deebo
options,
Samuel's a rookie, man.
Run option plays with their quarterback that's worth $200 million?
Yeah.
Like, why can everybody else do all that stuff? And the Jacksonville Jaguars just hand off, run play, say they're going to run play action and don't. I mean, it's I just don't get that. Like, they probably do it more than my eyes catch it. But my eyes caught a lot of that stuff last night in that football game. And again, not all of it worked. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it works all the time. But it caught a lot of it. And the other thing, I think I tweeted this, those two guys, Reed and Shanahan, they use every blade of grass on that field. They spread it out. They make you vertical. They use the real estate. Mm-hmm. And I have seen this offense, and again, this is a little bit labeling the Jags. This isn't necessarily this past year or even like, but over my time in Jacksonville, I have seen the Jaguars play in what looks like a cardboard box, a 20-yard box. Mm-hmm. Yet I see teams like this play and use the whole freaking football field, length and width.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's frustrating to watch because they're all NFL minds. Some might be a little bit better, but these guys didn't just reinvent football. I mean, Andy Reid's been doing this a bit. They've got playmakers. That helps a little bit, but you can still try. They're doing this at the college level.
Yeah.
So if they can do it at the college level, you sure as hell can do it at the pro level.
Yeah.
I hope we see more of that kind of stuff. The Jags need to be creative. If you're going to be bad, be creative.
So here's the thing, man. I think we're talking about defense all the time, and we talk about the ability to adapt and try to, cover the offense and everything. I mean, if you watched what San Francisco did, and if you watched what Kansas City did up until the third quarter, I mean, it wasn't anything new, right? Like at the end, Kansas City blitzed a lot more, got in Jimmy Garoppolo's grill a little bit. He made some mistakes. I get that. But from the offensive side of the ball, you could tell just exactly where the game planning was, and that's something that we praised Andy Reid about, where I guess now, what is he? He's 18-3 after bye weeks in terms of, planning for a game. And it's from the standpoint of, what did we talk about on Friday? Or at least what did I talk about on Friday? I said, I bet Kansas City is going to try to come out and run the ball a little bit. They haven't really done it all year, but San Francisco, if you want to call them vulnerable at all on defense, which they're not really vulnerable, but in that wide nine sometimes, you can run the ball a little bit. Well, enter Damon Williams, you know? And one would say, well, why are you running the ball? Dude, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Sammy Watkins, you got Travis Kelce. Just throw the ball 50, 60 times, go collect that check, go get a Super Bowl, man. But it's not how it works. And I thought that goes to show, I guess, the genius of Andy Reid. And I get it. They were down a little bit and everything, not putting up a lot of points. But like running the ball, Brent, especially in the first half, that opened up things in the second half. And you go back to the red zone, and you talked about that spinning concept that I guess came from 1930 or 48, the Michigan Rose Bowl game.
Yeah.
Who were they playing? USC.
I was USC.
I didn't know they were playing football back then. Awesome.
They've been doing that for a while.
No, I hear you. But that's just. I get it. Football it comes full circle, right? Like
it does,
you took that play from whatever it was, the black and white era, if you will. Not sure if they're wearing pads or helmets, but you took that play and you brought it back. But that's the type of, I guess, just the intrigue. That's the type of fun and just kind of curiosity that you have to have as an offensive play caller, man. Sometimes you have to go to the well a little bit. Sometimes you have to think outside the box. And to me, that's what makes, Andy Reid and that offense so fantastic. And even San Francisco, don't take anything away from Kyle Shanahan. I get it. You didn't run the ball towards the end, and it was a bad look for you. But
he's very good.
But those jet sweeps to Deebo Samuel, keep in mind, Deebo Samuel's a rookie, okay? You're asking him to do a lot as a rookie. And he's arguably probably their best receiver right now. I would put him over Emmanuel Sanders. But it's just, you think outside the box. You try to reinvent yourself, and you don't get caught in your ego where it's like, you know what we do is fine. It doesn't matter who we play. We're going to be successful. No, man, that's not how it works in offense. You constantly have to reinvent the wheel game by game by game and exploit teams on defense.
Sometimes you got to take out those old jeans from back in the closet, man.
Yeah, man.
It feels good sometimes.
Break them back in a little bit,
I told
right?
you, I had that blazer, right? I was like a decade old.
You told me I was a decade old.
That was a decade old, and like I was telling Stuart this. When I wore it in Miami, I think for the national championship game, which would have been like 2009 for the Gators.
Yeah.
I think I bought it around that time. I was like, I'm going to Miami. I got to get right. Let's try it. Yeah. So I wear that, and it was like, whoa, Brent, what you wearing right there? What is that?
I'm telling you, man.
No, but it was kind of like, I don't know if you should wear that on TV. That's might be a little
no.
wild.
Oh, no, you're good.
Nowadays, nobody even said anything. It just fits right in.
Dude, heaven forbid you walk past the Clevelander. They would have let you right in VIP. Like, oh, sir, right this way. We don't know who you are right now. It might be Matt Damon, but please come right this way.
Sometimes you got to
service.
recycle.
Sometimes you got to flex a little bit, man. I like it.
All right, hey, I'm going to get to Patrick Mahomes, 2.5 Super Bowls in his career, over or under. Wait a minute, though.
Okay.
Before we do that, we have some people jumping in on the Calais or Yann, so I want to get to it. First Coast Bubbler says Calais. Remember, this is public perception standpoint. We're not talking football here. Yeah. And we're talking about an offseason that could be ugly in this regard if you lose one or both of these guys. Josh says, short-term Yann, which is interesting. Then the pay Yann movement is strong. Long-term, I think fans would probably regret losing Calais more. What he does on and off the field gives him much higher community value. I wish he could retire in teal and black. Interesting. Let's go on. Doug says Calais is a superhero. After this Walter Payton Award, I don't see how the Jaguars cannot sign him. Matthew says, in terms of the pride of the Jaguars, not until Rasheed Mathis gets in. Rasheed should be in, and you're right.
Agreed.
Not Maya Ritchie says both. Well, that's sitting on the fence. Tim says, Calais is a culture changer. The Jags need him more than any player right now. Yannick isn't special. Interesting. The Kool-Aid tell you otherwise.
Don't do that.
But he is more likely to turn into Jerry Hughes or Merriman than Von Miller. He's not a physical freak. He is good. All right. I don't know if I agree totally with you there.
But guess what, man? Von Miller's not a physical freak, though, either.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, like Khalil Mack's a physical freak.
Of course.
Right?
Josh Allen
is a physical freak. And I also think people don't understand and don't know the value of, like, at least through my eyes, I guess you'd have to get stories in the building a little bit more of how Yannick Ngakoue, I believe, has grown as a pro. His mature. They need more people that are pros, that are serious about their jobs. Andy Reid said something yesterday after winning, and he said, this team is about as good a collection of guys I've had, blah, 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 blah. Everybody praises him when they win.
Yeah.
But he said, they are about as tough-minded of a team as I've had. And that sticks out to me. First of all, Jaguars need to find a way to be physical on the football field, but they need to be tough-minded. Yeah. That's a good phrase. Yeah. And the Jaguars overall as a football team have not been tough-minded.
Well, and let's be honest, too, it's a testament to Andy Reid because, no, he is. And then you know what? And it's not like the Chiefs are just, this locker room full of goody-goodies, okay? You got guys like Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce can be kind of a high, profile type of ego-driven dude. So you have all these guys in Kansas City, all different backgrounds. It's like every single NFL locker room, Brett. There's nothing special about him. But the fact is, Andy Reid, for whatever reason, like he's found the magic sauce where it's like, listen, I'm going to coach you guys hard. And training camp could suck sometimes. Practice could suck sometimes. I'm going to chew you out sometimes. But guess what, man? With my personality and the way we like to have fun, you're going to want to play for me. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs did.
Mitz Linder says Calais must remain in Jacksonville. Let's see. Jason says it would be a huge mistake if they don't bring him back. His presence in the locker room is more valuable than people think. I think he's talking about Calais there.
Yeah.
So there's some thoughts on Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue. Again, we posed the question about public perception-wise, what would be more damaging here this offseason? This is not really on the football field question, even though both are extremely talented players, and both will hurt the Jags if they don't have them. All right, last part of the Super Bowl thing I want to get to today. Patrick Mahomes is the face of the league. He's really awesome. I mean, tremendous. You look at, I don't need to tell you that. You watch it. It's interesting because, some people will say, Jags, how do they not get this guy? I can't believe they didn't get this guy. But the whole league was a little unsure about him. Give Kansas City a lot of credit.
Andy wasn't unsure. He knew right away.
Give their front office, Andy Reid and everybody, a lot of credit for jumping up and getting him. I'm not saying they were unsure like a fourth-round guy, but they didn't know. He wasn't ever listed as a top 3 quarterback in that draft.
Correct.
He wasn't.
Yeah, you're right.
But I do think, I thought about this. I saw a video of Mahomes, and it was like, I think the Players Tribune did it, like when he was coming out. And I think we talked to Gardner Minshew's dad as well when we were in Brandon, Mississippi. And he says, like, the process of finding quarterbacks is so flawed. Like, they look at the height, the weight, the measurements, the throw, the speed, the hand size, all that stuff, but they never ask them to go dissect a play. Like, they never ask them to read a defense in these meetings. I shouldn't say never, but they don't do enough of that. We get caught up in all the measurables and the stats and what he did in college and some game tape. But what about the NFL if you see this or that? And Gardner would obviously have been a nice find in that regard. He's a very smart guy. I guess the whole process of the quarterback seems so flawed. If Gardner Minshew was like one of the last quarterbacks drafted in this class, just because he wasn't a certain height and weight and arm strength.
Yeah.
And 2, if the whole world that scouts football didn't think Patrick Mahomes was going to be great. I mean, this guy has been a slam dunk great quarterback since the moment he stepped on an NFL field. And yes, he's in a great situation. But this guy would be pretty darn good just about everywhere. I always say it's situational. He would be good. I don't know if he'd be this good, but he would be pretty darn good just about everywhere.
Yeah.
How did everybody not see that? How does everybody not know that? How did just the Kansas City Chiefs trade up to like number 13 or whatever it was to get him?
Well,
it's a flawed process if you can spend your whole life around football and you can grade people out. Yet you mostly, I say you as like a fraternity, didn't all see that this guy was a special, or Russell Wilson goes to the 3rd round. How are we missing that drastically on the quarterback position?
Yeah, so
not we in Jacksonville. I'm saying the league. It's
general.
not just Jacksonville.
Exactly. And listen, it's like you said, when you talk about the quarterback position, you talk about the height. Like, it just seemed like a decade ago, you had to be like 6'4" to play quarterback. You got to be a stature in the pocket, ability to take a hit, and you had to have a giant arm to play the quarterback position. And now that's kind of it's a little different now, but everyone's got an idea of what a quarterback should be. He should be so-and-so amount of tall. He should be, have this hand size, and he should be able to make these throws, yada, yada, yada. But, like, if you go back to when I interviewed Gardner Minshew, and after we talked about it at the Senior Bowl, and I said, there's something with this guy where if you look at the situation in Washington State, in that horrible situation where their quarterback committed suicide, and Gardner Minshew comes in off the streets, getting ready to be a coach for the rest of his life, comes in off the streets and wins that locker room over in literally like a spring practice, okay? Won the entire locker room over, and he led him from that standpoint.
And wins the job.
From the outside looking in, people could be like, oh, yeah, it's football. But I'm just saying, dude, that's not an easy thing to do, okay? Like, you have to earn your stripes. You have to earn the respect of your teammates. And not everybody can do that. I play with some quarterbacks that never did that. I play with some quarterbacks that did do that. But what I'm saying is you can't see that stuff on film, okay? If you're a scout, if you're a GM, you can't put on film and be like, you know what? This guy makes some really great throws, but I can't tell if he's going to be able to have that dog in him. Is he going to be able to lead the team like I need him to? You can't get that kind of standpoint. Patrick Mahomes, good example. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know much about him. All right. When the Chiefs traded up, I was like, ugh. What are you guys thinking? But go back to what Andy Reid says about Patrick Mahomes. And this is, I forgot who Andy Reid was talking to, but it was like a year ago. Go back to when they asked him about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. And I asked him the same question at the Super Bowl. It was kind of a short answer, but I've heard a longer answer about it. But what clicked for Andy Reid and why Patrick Mahomes was their guy right after that was what he did on the board. Andy Reid threw the kitchen sink at Patrick Mahomes on the board and said, all right, drop this play. Where are you going with the ball? And I guess like Patrick Mahomes' instincts to kind of dissect the play like that and put it on the board is what impressed Andy Reid. Now, Deshaun Watson was pretty...
along with that arm talent?
Exactly. Now, Deshaun Watson was impressive too, don't get me wrong. But I guess Patrick Mahomes, whatever he did, and I don't know the exact details, absolutely killed it on the board. And that's why they're with Patrick Mahomes. Once again, you can't see those intangibles on film, Brent. You can't see those at a combine. You can't see those intangibles of a guy wearing spandex running a 40-yard dash. All you can gain from that is just talking to the guy and doing your due diligence.
And it's such an intangible position.
I know.
I mean, yes, the height and weight stuff matters. Mm-hmm. But what I would love to know, we'll never know, and personnel guys, by the way, will lie to you and say, oh, yeah, we would have picked him 14th. We would have picked him 16th.
I know, man.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Where does he drop to if the Chiefs aren't smart enough to visualize and see? Now, maybe they had to move up because they did feel like somebody. I forget the draft that year. I haven't read enough about it.
Sure.
But you just wonder. Like, I mean, could this guy have gone all the way down to late in the first round? And he's this gifted? And what's interesting, I bring up Minshew because he's at the back end of the entire draft in the 6th round, but he also doesn't have the check-the-box stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, this guy slipped down to the middle of the first round in the most premier position in sports where people will trade their house, their yacht, their anything for to get up, to get the guy. Mm-hmm. And this guy checks all the boxes in terms of arm talent, height, all that stuff, still slipped in the middle of the round. And other quarterbacks were taken ahead of him. Like, what did the Chicago Bears see?
Yeah.
What did Chicago... Now, listen, I understand you can kill Jacksonville. I continue to say Jacksonville, they don't make the AFC Championship game in 17 without Leonard Fournette. So I can at least tell you what Jacksonville was trying to do that year. They were trying to get tougher, run first, build it around. I get it. We can debate it all day and we can argue it, and obviously long term it's never going to stand up. Deshaun Watson, I see some of the magic in Watson, but I also see some flaws in Watson. But Mitchell Trubisky, Chicago, people from Chicago thought somehow in this whole draft process that Mitchell Trubisky was going to be better than Patrick Mahomes. Like, what are we looking at?
But here's the case, Brent. You have a guy like Andy Reid who came from Green Bay. He was around Brett Favre. All right, he knew Brett Favre very well. He knew what to look for. Then he goes to Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb. I think he was, 7-time Pro Bowl, 8-time Pro Bowl, Donovan McNabb. He knew what to look for. Donovan McNabb was a great quarterback in his own right. So he kind of had that preconceived notion of, this is the type of quarterback that I'm looking for. These are the kind of intangibles that I'm looking for. Was Brett Favre, the highly coveted guy out of college? Absolutely not. Now, Donovan McNabb could be a different story. But Andy Reid knew what he was looking for the entire time. And when it presented itself, they went above and beyond to make sure that they got that thing. Obviously, Harbaugh and everything, they want to say, yeah, Lamar Jackson was our guy from day one. Well, you drafted a tight end before Lamar Jackson. and looking back what we know now, hindsight's 2020, you would draft Lamar Jackson at the number 1 spot every single year in the draft, okay? So don't sit here and tell me, well, Lamar Jackson was our guy, like we wanted to go in a new direction. No. I mean, yeah, you traded back up to get him. Props to you for doing that, but you also took a tight end before them, okay? Andy Reid knew as soon as Mahomes got on the board that this was the guy. He has the arm strength. He has the creativity. He has the improv to be a legit quarterback.
Absolutely. All right, so the question I asked, and we had one response of over so far, at least that I could tell. Over under 2.5 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes has 1. He's not even 25 years old. Yeah. I think most people would say, you know what? Mahomes is going to win another one. Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't go against that bet. Mm-hmm. That he's going to win another one. I don't think they're going to win like next year. I don't think it's the start of a 3-year run or anything like that. But I do think it's. I think we have to assume he wins one more at this stage of it.
Yeah.
But does he win 2 or more? Does he start to creep into the conversation of guys that have won not just a couple but multiple Super Bowls? Is the guy that good?
Let me ask you this one question: through the next, so let's say like a 7-8 year career, Patrick Mahomes right now. Maybe he wins over 2.5, whatever. That's the number right now. Do you see Andy Reid still being there?
I think you have to count on Andy Reid being there maybe another 4 years.
4 years, man. See, to me, and once
Let's
again,
get him to 60, 61.
Yeah,
so Andy Reid get there till 65. I'll give
Yeah.
him. Now he might coach longer than that. Guy's coached till 70.
Yeah, exactly.
But Andy Reid likes eating cheeseburgers too.
Exactly. I think if Andy Reid's still there, then yes, they have a chance. I think if Andy Reid leaves, then it could be detrimental. Because listen, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I think a lot of success. And don't get me wrong, Patrick Mahomes, fantastic quarterback, but a lot of his success comes from Andy Reid, just like a lot of Tom Brady's success, you could argue, comes from Bill Belichick.
Well, it's interesting because I'm in the Brady camp. I don't think Belichick wins these, especially the later ones. Maybe a couple, but not 6 without Brady.
Yeah.
It's a chicken and the egg thing.
Correct.
But I do agree with what you're saying right now, especially early in their careers. I think Reid is the more valuable guy in that relationship right now, early on. And I do think Belichick was a more valuable guy because people forget, like Brady didn't throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns in the early Super Bowls. They won with defense and scheme and special teams, and that was Belichick, until he came along, much like Russell Wilson did early in his career when he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then he took over the reins. I think that's always the interesting progression. Just because we say now that's what's different about Mahomes, Mahomes is doing this. Like the reason they are winning is Mahomes led. The reason the Patriots won in 2001 and beat the Rams was not because of Tom Brady. It was partly Tom Brady, but it was Adam Vinatieri's leg. It was a little luck against Oakland in the snow game. And it was this defense that against the Rams' most powerful offense, they pressed them at the line. They got away with hand checks, and they were physical with those receivers, so they held them down.
Yeah.
This is all because of Mahomes, this whole playoff run, and what he's been able to accomplish.
But don't forget about this, though, either, Brent. When Mahomes went down, all right, and Henny wasn't there, they had to go with a guy by the name of Matt Moore, who I think last time I saw Matt Moore was on Hard Knocks, back 2011, 2012, whatever it was. No idea he was still around. Matt Moore comes out, plays, starts 3 games, quarterback ratings of 89.1, 107.1, and 103.9. Okay? Now, Patrick Mahomes probably would have did a lot better, obviously. But you cannot say enough about Andy Reid's system to be successful. A guy coming off the street, Brent, I don't know what he was doing, but the guy comes off the street, and, obviously you lose to Green Bay. You win 2 of the 3 that you started, but you still put up some major points, and that is because of Andy Reid's system.
We kind of asked all sorts of questions, but did you ever give me an answer on the over-under?
Oh, over, assuming Andy Reid stays.
So you're going to take over 2.5, so 3 Super Bowls or more for Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm going to take under.
Okay.
I said something.
I think it's probably smart money.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the smart money is. It'd be interesting.
Good. Honest, teams get hip to the game, especially on defense.
Maybe I'll put a poll question out there anyway to see. But here's the thing. I said this earlier in the show. I do feel like this offense is so good, it's going to be hard to duplicate. Like the Patriots, their best team didn't win a Super Bowl. That team that was 18-0. They lost to the Giants, and they were so dynamic on offense. They've been all different reincarnations of the Patriots along the way. Will Mahomes and the Chiefs be able to do that? Because these last 2 years, I'm not sure they'll be more prolific than this going forward. I mean, it's hard to top.
Well, and listen, what my only knock on Patrick Mahomes going forward now is if you have the ball on the 1 yard line and Anthony Sherman's in the game, please hand the ball
Plus
off
150.
to Anthony Sherman, man. Plus 1,000 prop bet that I had some money on, and you couldn't just give him the ball.
It's plus 1,000?
Oh, it's plus 1,000.
I thought it was plus 150.
Oh no, plus 1,000, Brent.
Give it to Sherman.
We're talking Ruth Chris kind of money.
Yes, you're buying.
Yeah. No, I'm not buying anymore because I can't give him the ball.
All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you on TV with some more coverage. Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Keep an eye on the news cycle.
Oh.
Maybe.
Okay.
Back here tomorrow. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Gonna give me some of that
Kuz.
It's unreal.
That's the most impressive thing Kuz has ever done.
Oh, without a doubt.
Here on the show.
That was very nice.
It's the best use of star 690 ever.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Let Bold City Heating and Air help you beat the change in weather we just experienced. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. The recent cold snap probably had you turning on your heat at home. A few days later, you needed your AC again. In Jacksonville, you want to make sure both are working and efficient. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. They helped my family last summer. Friendly service, competitive pricing, and an experience you'll probably tell your friends about. Give Bold City Heating and Air a call at 90